Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of August 25th. And we have a full moon week upon us, but it's not just a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And that is on the 27th for those in my time zone and spills over into the 28th for those in other time zones. And this week we also have that full moon with a conjunction to Mercury and in a T-square to Uranus. So we're definitely going to pick that apart. Mercury is going to be moving into the sign of Virgo, where the sun is. We had just had the sun move into Virgo, shifting the season just later last week. And Virgo is a grounding energy. It's a mutable energy too. It's actually the mutable earth sign. So what that means is that it's flexible. It's able to go different directions. It's okay with things, with plans shifting and sort of moving with the group or the flow a little bit more, where you have a fixed sign. The fixed earth sign is Taurus. They can hold their ground and be quite stubborn, very hard to force a Taurus. And then Capricorn is the third earth sign in the zodiac, and Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign. And cardinal energy is all about taking a leadership role and starting things. All the cardinal signs start the new seasons. And so that kind of breaks that down a little bit for you. But this week, Mercury moves into Virgo with the sun, where it gets grounded. It becomes more practical, has a more rational mindset. And Mercury is about mindset. It's the mind and the way we think and our messaging and how we're going about our communication. And so with Virgo, we can tend to be much more detail oriented with the way that our messaging is coming through. We can get into specifics a bit more. Mercury actually is the ruler of the sign of Virgo. So as it enters Virgo, it becomes very strong and sure of itself. And so our communication can become quite direct again, where Leo, the previous sign that Mercury was in, Leo is very passionate and can be very direct, but it's also a fire sign. So it follows its instinct a little bit more. It's more about how we're feeling and our passion places and those like really inspired areas. That's what we've been communicating through over the past 3 weeks is Leo. Bold, big, dramatic communication. Well, now with Mercury in Virgo, it becomes much more thoughtful about the way that it's presenting its messaging. It's become able to just get into those specifics more and become more specialized in areas. So with our studying and with our communication, we can get into those little areas more into the details. So Virgo's kind of the name of the game this week, because that is where the sun is in this opposition to the moon during the full moon, and the moon's in Pisces. So we get that Pisces-Virgo axis here, which we are no strangers to. The nodes of destiny have just moved out of Virgo and Pisces into leo-aquarius just within the past few weeks. The nodes spend 18 months in a sign. So with the nodes, they work on destiny, they work on fate, and they clean up those areas of our chart where they're going through and put us on those more fated paths. So no stranger to this Pisces Virgo axis here. It's about health and healing. It's about servitude, how we serve ourselves, how we serve others, how we go about our service and our work. It's a more feminine energy, so it's about nurturing and being more intuitive. And so that is what's going to be amplified very much as we move through the week and enter into the final phase of this eclipse portal we've been moving through. The new moon solar eclipse in Leo was on August 12th. And now we are reaching the end of this phase between the eclipses. And it's a very powerful phase. It includes the energies of these nodes of destiny and these fated paths that we are to be on in life. So, an exciting week, really, because it's a good time to finish out these stories that have been forming over the last couple of weeks. And we feel these eclipses for a couple of weeks moving in and a couple of weeks moving out. So it's been a big process over the past few weeks of feeling this time in our life where we are to follow our intuition a little bit more about the path that we're on and places we need to go in our life and areas we need to put our energy into and areas we need to serve ourselves and others to bring about this truly benevolent, highest path that we are to be on. So let's just kind of break it down day by day as we do here in the cosmic community. So rolling back to August 25th, the moon moves into Aquarius. This is a social air sign. This is also where Pluto is. So Pluto is at 4 degrees, moving back to 3 degrees of Aquarius. The moon makes an aspect with Pluto on the 25th where we have a death and a rebirth. Pluto wants to burn something down to allow the new thing to rise. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. So we wake up the phoenix rising on August 25th in Aquarius. And Aquarius is about freedom, awakening. It's about independence and individuality. And so this is a Mercury day. We have 3 Mercury aspects on the 25th. Mercury makes a conjunction. As it moves into Virgo, it is moving over the 29-degree point of Leo, where the South Node is. South Node is about releasing things from our life that are no longer serving us. It's also in an opposition here to the North Node. So that is about going in the direction, choosing in an opposition. We make a decision. We choose to walk away from those things that we have outgrown, and we choose to move in the direction of our future and excitement and joy. And Mercury is, again, it's about communication. So this is a very much a messaging kind of day. Pay attention on the 25th to things people are saying to you, people that you're meeting, any new people or new connections that you're making with people, emails that you're receiving, any kind of communications that are coming through are very, very fated on the 25th. And then Mercury moves into Virgo, goes home, gets exalted here, and starts to stare deep into the brilliance of the sun, because on the full moon, we're going to have the exact conjunction, the cazimi between Mercury and the sun, and they're going to be exact conjunct aligned on that day. So Mercury's staring at the brilliant, bright sun saying, I'm coming for you to have a brilliant, bright moment here. And then on the 25th also, Mercury is, because it's at that 1 degree point of Virgo, making a trine to Chiron at 1 degree of Taurus. And this is a healing opportunity. Chiron is about our wounds. So something could come up about our wounds, but a trine is supportive. So it wants to bring something to fruition, support, and ultimately, be there to hold to hold that energy, to hold the wound in high regard. With a trine, it's like, hey, I got you. So again, it could be a communication too, because Mercury's involved. It could just be like a very a moment where we come to a realization about something very specific or specialized that is going to help us to move forward with our healing. Okay, so then on the 26th of August, this is an interesting day. We have multiple inconjuncts on the 26th, which makes it a totally different energy than what we had the day before. Inconjuncts are about something approaching us in our blind spot. It's an uncomfortable feeling because we don't have the opportunity to deflect or to take any action that relieves the discomfort of the inconjunct. And an inconjunct is 5 signs apart. So when we actually look at the astrological aspects, they are very much sort of designed off of the way that our eyes see. So if we're sitting in a sign, so we would take it Sun in conjunct Neptune is the first aspect on the 26th. The Sun in Virgo has Neptune 5 signs apart. And that 5 signs, that is considered like a blind spot. It doesn't have like what a trine has, 3 signs apart. That is supportive. That is easily seen. That is in plain sight. Where an inconjunct is like hard to see. It's in that blind spot. And so it has this way of kind of sneaking up on you. And all you can do is make adjustments to whatever is coming up. And then again, the Sun in this in conjunct with Neptune is about hopes, dreams, and desires, making adjustments. The self, the Sun in Virgo, this very practical, grounded, rational person who's ready to pick through the details, is getting, these sort of blasts from Neptune, which is all about, hey, my intuition is really strong. These are the places that I want to go in my future, my hopes, my dreams, and my desires. But Neptune is also the planet that rules like escapism, escaping, and like just not facing things. So that's an interesting energy on the 26th. And it's combined with Mercury, basically in a conjunction with the Sun already at those first few degrees of Virgo. Mercury now making an inconjunct with Pluto. And Pluto, we already said, Phoenix rising from the ashes. That's uncomfortable. Pluto is about transformation. So we always know that we have to give something up when we have a Pluto aspect. And Mercury, again, this almost like the star of the week here, is taking some kind of communication and having to make adjustments to it. And it's like an uncomfortable communication about some kind of shadow area. Hey, let's face it, Pluto is about death. So we could actually get the call about something or someone or some part of our life, something that we've lost. And so there's some grief, that may come in, a communication, Mercury that may have a permanent transformation and effect on the future, which is what Pluto has. So very, very strong here, because what this actually forms with the Sun and Mercury, basically conjunct, they're at 3 degrees of Virgo. They're in a finger of God aspect with Neptune and Pluto. And this is like what it sounds like. It's an intense moment where we could feel like something comes into our life that permanently makes a fix on the future, that touch from source, that touch. I consider our intuition very much part of this. So this is where we want to spend time in meditation and spend time slowing our mind down in this earth sign and receiving these messages, because it's coming through the bright, brilliant energy of the sun. And we know the impact that the sun has on us here on the planet. It makes everything happen. The sun gives everything life. And so somehow through these communications and through this Mercury Sun conjunction, as we move into the full moon on the 27th, it's giving us life. It's providing us brilliance, and it's very fertile. So as we enter the 27th, we do have another in conjunct. This is Mercury making that perfect in conjunction with Neptune. And so they're right there together, the Sun and Mercury, but Mercury just caught up, made that perfect aspect the morning of the 27th, dipping in its energies to that finger of God perfectly with Neptune. And then we get the conjunction with the sun. So this is also, can be quite, it can be blinding, even like, because so much sunlight, you can feel like it's drying you out, or it's like so much sun. It's like, you're getting burned by some of this. And that is part of the Cazimi energy also. So make sure that you're taking breaks when you need to absorb what is taking place during this very intense eclipse portal, because it's all culminating on the 27th and the 28th, wherever your time zone is here on the Pacific West Coast. It's occurring at 9:20 p.m. on the 27th. The moon moves into Pisces earlier in the day, so we start really feeling that, and it builds to 5 degrees of Pisces, where we are in an opposition with the sun in Virgo. And so another part of this lunar eclipse in Pisces is that we have an exact T-square with Uranus. Uranus is at 5 degrees, and the T-square is actually between the nodes here. And because it's an eclipse, so the nodes are super close, and the full moon. So the nodes are at 29, between 29 and 0. And the, as I mentioned, the full moon's at 5 and Uranus is at 5. So it's all very close. And so this T-square with Uranus is really, really bringing in some intense energy. And surprise. We could see so much surprise take place as the Sun, Mercury, both make this exact square with Uranus on the 28th. Also, so 27th, 28th are like complete wild card days. Cannot know what to expect. Uranus is the planet of awakening also. So we could have sudden realizations that, since Mercury is involved, it's all about this messaging and these thoughts and these brilliant moments. We could have that lightning bolt of inspiration, that lightning bolt awakening, where we go, wow, I really get it now. Pisces is about our intuition, and it's about source energy. And it's about our connection to all that is. It's about dissolving into everything. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. So it's everything in the entire zodiac dissolved into one sign. So it really encompasses this. It's like tapping into the Akashic records. The Akashic records are said to be this place where all thoughts and experiences of every human being and spirit and energy that's ever lived on this plane, it's available to all of us in this mental place that we can go to and span those Akashic records. So there's something available coming in from source energy, from all that is. We can truly find answers, I think, to a lot of our questions if we kind of look. But, you have to be in that state where you're open to receive that messaging. So staying open this week is really, really important. Even the little things, because Mercury indeed is going to begin to slow down and set up for a retrograde. We're not quite in shadow yet, but we're getting into that really intuitive place with this Virgo feminine energy. So then on the 29th, we have the moon moving into Aries. This is where we begin again. Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, we see a lot of endings. Around this lunar eclipse, we could see a lot of endings because it deals with Pisces energy. And then Aries comes in for fresh starts. We truly get new beginnings, new opportunities available to us starting on the 29th into the 30th. A very, very busy lunar day on the 30th, but another day with no planetary aspects. So spilling over all of this Uranus spontaneity and surprise really goes into the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. This is a day, the 31st, when we see the exact trine between Jupiter and Saturn. And I'm going to have to talk about this a little bit more next week because I wasn't able to get into it. I wanted to really chat about this eclipse cycle that's finishing and this intense full moon that it's ending on. And so I feel like we really had the opportunity to get into that. But Jupiter trine Saturn is about the new versus the old. And Jupiter, Saturn are in a 20-year cycle. So this goes into a lot of beginnings that took place when Saturn and Jupiter had their conjunction in 2020. So this is like we're a third of the way point for these two. And we're really starting to settle in to some of the, this new transpirations and let go of some of those things that were really holding us back that might have been a little too traditional or a little too, had a few too many rules and boundaries for us. So yeah, we'll chat more about that again next week, but I really appreciate you being here with me in the Cosmic Community Astrology, and I am your galactic ambassador, Stacey Dredd. I hope you have a really great week, and we will talk again soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.